Hey everybody, Will Fix here. Got another video for you today. In today's world, is any of your crypto safe? I mean, the Lazarus hack group in North Korea just stole $1.4 billion of Ethereum. And do you remember back when an employee of one of the companies, I believe it was a Ledger, kept their credentials and signed on and stole some money out of somebody's wallet? Many thefts that you've heard about, and it feels like, man, is anything secure? We're warned all the time not to keep your money on the exchange for multiple reasons. It's easier to hack an exchange account that just has a password than it is to hack a 12-seed phrase. So is anything secure? Well, what if I told you, yes, there is something secure. There's institutional grade, custody, and it's insured. Well, it's insured against loss. What if I told you when you interact with your own cryptocurrency to buy and sell that it wasn't your currency, but they used their own currency, let's say this mysterious brokerage or exchange I'm talking about, uses their own money to perform transactions and then swaps it with what's held in your wallet after the fact? It's pretty secure, isn't it? And they're secured against loss with insurance. Wow, it's pretty fantastic. What a great idea. Don't you love that security? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's go ahead and get started. Right before that, of course, here's the Decent Wallet, which is a great way to secure some of your cryptocurrency. Here we are with Jim Bazzani, and he's with Caleb and Brown, and he's here to share thoughts and ideas, and so we can explore Caleb and Brown a little deeper and get some good insights on how Caleb and Brown can help us out. Jim, thank you for spending time with me today. I appreciate you offering your services, offering your time for me and for the people that look on my program. You know, I appreciate it. And
Thanks, Will. No, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yes, sir. Now, the first question I think would be, what type of clients do you have? I know we have institutional clients. You have just the guy out there that has maybe some on an exchange, maybe a couple $1,000 invested, a cold storage wallet. Tell me about what type of clients that you guys service.
Yeah, so I mean, we have a broad spectrum of clients, really. Definitely more catered towards probably the older generation. In terms of what and how our business operates, it's very similar to a brokerage firm in the share space, but we've just replicated that for crypto. So it's for people that are looking for a personalized service. Every client of ours gets their own dedicated broker. It's someone that wants that institutional grade upside of a service, but something that we make accessible to all. So I would certainly say that it's for anyone that's looking for someone to speak to about their investments, to become more informed about the crypto space. But as I mentioned, we have definitely a skew towards the more older generation and individuals that actually want that personalized service. But certainly there are people that are younger, especially my generation, that are looking to invest in crypto for the long term, that love our service for a whole range of reasons I'm sure we'll discuss today.
All right, awesome. Now, how does the process of being assigned a dedicated broker work, and how often could I imagine interacting with them?
Yeah, great question. So we have a pretty simple sign up process where you'll go onto the Caleb Brown website, make sure you use Will's link to sign up. And then there'll be a simple sign up form that will just have some details about you, things like your contact name, your email, etc. There'll then be a quick KYC process. So as a business, we do KYC all of our clients, through the laws and regulations that require us to do so. But then once you've gone through that simple KYC process, you'll have access to your own account. And through that account, you get your own dedicated broker who, as we've mentioned, is essentially there to assist you in whatever part of the crypto journey you're in. So whether you're someone that's completely new to the space and needs that guidance, or maybe you're someone that's been in crypto for a long time, but you want to leverage our cold storage solution, you want to execute a complex trade and do so through an expert like your broker. We really service both ends of the spectrum. And then in terms of contacting your broker, once your account's created with us, you'll get access to their email, to their phone number. Our brokers usually will email first initially just to introduce themselves, learn a bit more about you, because ultimately they're building a long-term sustainable relationship with you. And then it's up to yourself and your broker to either schedule a call. Most of the time, an initial introductory and consultation call is what our brokers will do. And then it's up to you whether you need to speak to your broker. Some speak to them weekly, some even daily. Some will just check in once a month and see, hey, what's happening in the market right now? Is there any asset in particular maybe I should be looking to buy or to change my current portfolio? So it's a personalized service. It's really up to the client and what they want to do with their broker.
Okay, so I could fully expect to have some guidance in the markets as we see, like today. It's February the 25th at the time of this recording, and there was been a huge drop in the market. And if that was something that alarmed me, then I would be free to call you. Is that a 24/7 proposition or maybe an email?
Yeah. So, you're exactly right. When things happen in the market like they do in the crypto space at a violent and quick pace, like we've seen the last couple of days, that is when our brokers are really getting on the front foot, ensuring that our clients are just educated on what's actually happening in this space. Is this something to be very terrified about, or is this a flush out of shorts that you and I just spoke about before? Having that ability to speak to someone on the other end about your portfolio is really valuable. In terms of the 24/7 service, so we are a 24/7 service. Obviously, a lot of our brokers are based in Australia currently. That will change here in the future. But when it comes to calling them, it's within their work hours. But certainly if you need to contact someone, you need to get a trade done, their emails are monitored 24/7. So we have account managers and brokers that live in the US, completely, they're employees of Calvin Brown. They work really closely with the brokers, and they'll actually be on their inboxes 24/7. So if you ever have a concern or you need to get a trade executed and you don't want to do it through the portal yourself, you'll still be able to do that at really rapid paces through an email. And then at best, we usually say, if you want to actually speak to your broker, try and organize a call, or you can try and call them. And if they're out of another call, they'll usually pick up and be able to chat to you. So that's how it works.
Awesome. We also spoke about security, and this was mind-blowing to me, that what you described to me in your security, because we know that we've seen recent security breaches like the Lazarus hack group out of out of North Korea that just stole $1.4 billion of Ethereum is estimated. And they had to get loans and stuff to fix that. And then if you go back in history, I believe it was Ledger cold storage wallet, that there was an employee that kept their credentials and was able to breach somebody's wallet and steal their funds. We've even seen, was it Chris Larson's account get hacked by somebody? Then he's one of the founders of XRP and XLM. And so we've seen these breaches, and that disturbs people. So you were talking about how Caleb and Brown operates in when they do exchanges for you and they're moving the money. Go ahead and explain that. And then you were talking about how the insurance through fire blocks and things like that. Speak to that for me.
Sure. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll explain just how we actually custody assets for our clients, and then I can speak about insurance and how we operate internally to actually get trades processed for clients. So our custody solution is quite unique compared to other platforms that you may buy your crypto on. And the reason it is unique is we leverage a cold storage institutional grade service. So we work quite closely and partner with Fireblocks. They're the preeminent custody solution within this space. And what that essentially means is, say you either purchase crypto through Calvin Brown, or you move your XRP from your own wallet to Calvin Brown, it'll literally just sit there in cold storage, separately vaulted away from every other client, but also vaulted between assets. So say you hold Bitcoin with us and you hold XRP with us, Will, that would be vaulted in your own separate wallets. It would literally just sit in cold storage. You don't need to take my word for it. It's verifiable on chain. So you could have a look at that address and see that that XRP in Bitcoin is just sitting there. And it just sits there in cold storage offline until you decide to make a trade or you decide to withdraw to your wallet or what have you. So it's really valuable in that sense that we don't charge anything for custody. We don't do any staking or anything like that. So we hold all of our clients' assets one for one, which means that there's no nefarious activity on our back end where, say, every single client of ours decides to withdraw at one time, which would be stressful. We would have all those assets one for one. We'd be able to send everything out. And so the reason that that works so well is that we're never relying on client assets to actually get trades done. So when a trade gets executed through our platform, we'll actually use our own liquidity as a business. We'll use our own operating capital to get the trade done. So your assets are safe with us. They sit there in cold storage. We'll use our own capital to get the trade facilitated, and then we'll balance that up at the end of the day in our internal books. So what that means is it gives our clients peace of mind, knowing that their assets are safe and stored securely with us. And then in terms of if something was to happen to Fireblocks, which nothing has so far, and touch wood, nothing does happen, there is an insurance policy on their end that is covered for us as a business, which ultimately covers our clients. So rest assured, custody, safety of assets is the most paramount thing that we focus on as a business. And we have such robust security protocols in place that, when we hear of these other exchanges and unfortunate things that happen in the space, it really emphasizes the amount of effort and time and money we put into the security of our clients' assets.
All right. So if I heard you right, whenever I process a sale and I use limit order or use whatever, and I either call my broker or I access through the portal where I do it myself, you actually use Caleb and Brown's funds to do those transactions in my stead. My money, my assets don't get touched until you finish the transaction, and at the end of the day, then you swap and settle out. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely right. So on your end, obviously the trade will get executed as quickly as possible and you'll have access to those funds. We will just at the end of the day make sure that, if you decide to sell 5,000 XRP, that we actually debit and credit that correctly at the end of the day internally. But certainly on your front end and how we operate as a business, you're exactly right. We'll use our own liquidity and operating capital. We'll do the trade and execute it on, whatever liquidity provider we decide to execute the trade on. And then we'll eventually settle that up at the end of the day. But that means your assets are never really touched or used throughout our transactions.
That's so awesome. Now, tell me about fees. Are there fees? Are there multiple fees? One fee? Is it a percentage? Are there monthly fees? Tell me about that.
Yeah, great question. So we just charge a transparent one flat fee, and that's a 3.5% on buys, sells, and swaps. So that's the only fee that we charge as a business. So that, as I mentioned before, there's no fees to leverage our cold storage solution. So there's no custody. You can speak to your broker whenever you like. So there's no brokerage fee. But maybe most importantly, there's no hidden costs that sometimes you'll see or you won't see on other exchanges. So things like spread, things like slippage, these are quite hidden and difficult to understand if you're not a crypto native, that a lot of other platforms will charge, especially on more altcoin and more less liquid assets. So we don't charge anything in relation to that side of things. And even more importantly, we don't charge withdrawal fees and limits. So one of the biggest things and most important things is spaces, knowing when to exit, but doing so safely without incurring significant fees. So we'll process those withdrawals for you at no extra cost as well.
Wow. And so if I have a real large transaction, or what I consider a large transaction, is there any negotiating that can take place on the fees, or is it just a flat rate?
Yeah, great question. So it's a default fee of 3.5%, but as is everything within our business, this is a personalized service. This is part of the experience you get as a client of ours, where you'll be able to negotiate those kinds of rates with your broker. This broker will have context on your trade portfolio. what you're deciding to do in this space. So certainly if you're deciding to trade at size, look, that's definitely always part of the negotiation and working closely with your broker to find what works best for you. Ultimately, we don't want to hemorrhage you on fees, right? We want to make sure you're getting a great deal. We want to get you the best price possible to sell out at. We also want to make sure that your fees are reasonable. So if you're trading in the 6 figures, 7 figures, that 3.5% is certainly negotiable with your broker. And I would suggest if you do sign up, that's a discussion you have directly with your broker, because every client will be very different in how they operate.
All right. Well, that sounds good. So if we do real well in our XRP, my channel, we focus on XRP mostly, and we got a couple $100,000. It's a negotiable fee. That's good to hear, man. I like that.
Negotiable. And then when it comes time to eventually, if you decide at the end of the day you want to sell a bit of your XRP to hit your price target, you'll be able to do so and withdraw to your bank account at no extra cost. So we'll facilitate that withdrawal for you and make that a seamless process, which can be stressful in this space.
Now, the site seems pretty robust. Tell me about is there any educational type things or any kind of information on the site that would help me in investigating the markets or learning about what's going on currently?
Absolutely, yeah. Consumer protection, but also education is at the heart of everything we do. So as a business, we definitely provide a safe and secure service for people to buy, sell, and swap crypto. But ultimately, we want our clients to be as educated about crypto as when they first joined here. So we provide things like monthly research reports. They're quite short and sharp, maybe 2 to 3 pages, but it gives you everything that's happening in the market currently. We have monthly reviews that our CCO does videos for. We do weekly recaps as a business that you can see on our social media. We also have a very, in my opinion, one of the best weekly newsletters that will give you a very clear rundown of everything that's been happening in the market. So we try and educate our clients as much as possible, because ultimately, if we're going to buy a ton of XRP or whatever asset it is, we want to be educated about our investment. We want to understand what's going on, but we also understand that this space is so fast moving. There's things happening every single day and it's hard to be across everything. So let us do the work. You can just put your feet up and you can read our newsletter whenever you like. We really try and make that accessible as possible for our clients.
That's awesome, man. Is there anything you think I missed or anything we should go over more thoroughly?
I think maybe what I would just mention is that it's completely free to sign up and make an account today. So there's no obligation to put any money up front or move your assets over. You can actually speak to a broker without having to upfront any of your crypto or cash, right? So what I would implore everyone in the WilkFix community is make sure you use his link below. But if you sign up, see if the service is right for you. Some people will probably like to do everything themselves, and that's totally fine. Some people will like to use us just to create and execute trades, but then they might hold their assets themselves. Some might just have their bag for life and hold all their XRP with us as well, right? So every client will be very different. But what I would say is sign up, speak to a broker and see if this is the service for you, because it's completely free to do so. And then the other thing that I would mention is we give flexibility for clients that if you want to trade through your LLC or you want to buy crypto through, say, a family trust, you can actually do that with us. So you don't have to just invest as an individual. You can sign up your LLC and invest in crypto through us, through that LLC. Or you can also set up a family trust and decide, you know what, I want my family to have some exposure to XRP in the long run. I'm going to onboard my family trust with Calvin Brown and invest through that platform as well. So it gives you the optionality to invest not just as an individual, but through your businesses as well.
Oh, that sounds excellent. Well, man, I appreciate you spending time with me today. I wish I was in Australia right now so you could put some shrimp on the Barbie. I wasn't going to try to do an accent because I do a very poor one. But I appreciate you spending
That's
time.
Okay. I was expecting a kangaroo reference of sorts or something.
Yeah,
I love the shrimp on the Barbie call.
Yeah, the typical, right? Well, it's a whole, isn't it a whole continent of prisoners, of convicts, isn't it?
Yeah, technically it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're reformed. Caleb and Brown's all reformed, and got generations of reform. So we should be good. Well, thanks again, man.
Thanks, Will.
All right.
Appreciate it.